Hi friends, welcome back to another video with Mountain Tribe Homestead. My name's Amberly. This video is just a little video about planting potatoes. So a few months ago, I picked up some seed potatoes from our local store and I used some of the extra egg cartons that I had laying around because the chickens were not laying eggs as frequently. So I had extra egg cartons laying around and I just labeled the insides of the lid. I had German butterball potatoes that I grabbed, and I also grabbed some russet Burbank potatoes. And so basically what I do with my potatoes is I take the potatoes and I set them in these egg cartons. And the reason that I do it in egg cartons is because it keeps them spaced out and they're not leaning up against each other. Moisture can get airflow can get around them very, very well so that the moisture doesn't get trapped. And these egg cartons are pretty breathable, I find. So these are the cardboard ones. They're not the foam type, and these are the ones that I prefer to use. And so I took the egg cartons and then I set them on the shelf and I put them in the windowsill, and I just left them there for a few months and I didn't do anything to them, and the light coming in from the windowsill is enough light to allow them to start sprouting. And as you can see on them, some of them came already kind of starting to sprout. So the darker ones are the russet Burbank potatoes, and the lighter colored ones are the German butterball potatoes. And you can see on there that they do have little sprouts already, and they came like that. And over a period of time, they will start sprouting, and once the sprouts get a little longer and have some green on them, then I will transfer them over into the garden. Now, this amount of potatoes is not going to supply my family nearly enough potatoes for an entire year, and I'm just growing what I can grow in the space that I currently have. I cannot grow in the ground with root vegetables for many reasons, a couple of them being I live on the side of a mountain, so we have more rock than we do dirt, so that is not ideal. I also battle voles, and so a lot of my raised beds that I have created and built over the years, I recently, the past couple of years, have been battling voles, and so they have found their way into my raised beds. So I just plant what I can where I can. So at this point, the potatoes have been in the windowsill for almost 2 months, and you can see that the sprouts are quite green and a little bit longer. And at this point, this is when I slice them up, and I slice them to where there's about 1 or 2 eyes on each section, and I leave them out to harden off for a few days before I put them in the ground. All right, time to plant the potatoes. I waited a little bit longer than I wanted to, so you can see that they're starting to really turn brown, but that's okay, they'll still work because little sproutlets are still green. But brought them out here. I got some dirt that I put in here, and I went and got compost out of the compost pile. I didn't sift it, so there may be some stuff in here that didn't break down all the way, like, for example, an eggshell. I didn't sift it, but that'll be fine. I'm going to mix this up, the compost with the soil, and then I've got some kelp and blood meal and bone meal and worm castings I'm going to throw in here, and just a little bit of hummus and manure. And if you haven't watched any of the other videos, I can't plant in the ground because we battle voles terribly. So all of the potatoes are going to be planted in these potato buckets. So I've got 4 of these, and I used these last year and they worked okay. But this year I'm going to experiment and try it with these. And then I also have some recycling containers over there that I use every year that always do really, really well. But between these 4, this basket, and those 2 containers, should be pretty good to go for a chunk of potatoes, okay? So I'm gonna get started. Okay, so I've got the buckets. I've filled up a few inches with soil, compost, worm castings, kelp meal, bone meal, and blood meal. I actually didn't put any humus and manure in there because I feel like between the compost and all the additives that I'm putting in there, that's probably good enough. So like I said, I didn't sift the compost, but as I was going through, I did pick out what I could with my hands. We are in the middle of building a compost sifter, so that way we can have nice fluffy sifted compost. And hopefully that'll be done soon. So basically I'm going to just plant I'm going to put just a couple of potato eyes in here. And then I'm going to actually do something a little different than I did before. And I'm going to put just a little bit of straw on top. I think that's going to help the soil not get so compacted. And the straw is actually going to help prevent this soil from coming out of the holes. But the idea of the laundry basket is that I'm going to put the potatoes in there and then they're going to grow out the sides, okay? And then as the potatoes grow, I will put more soil on top as they get taller and taller. And then once the thing is full of soil, then we're going to leave it and just let them do their thing and grow until the green stalks die back. And then once they die back, that's your signal that the potatoes are ready. So we're going to give this a go. I'm not doing that today. I'm not going to do those today, I don't think, unless I really feel like it later. But I've got to just get this done and head inside because I need to start school with a 7-year-old. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this done. All right, it's really windy out here, so I hope you can hear me. I got all of them in here. I've got only the German butterball planted. The other ones, which I can't even remember what they're called, I'm gonna have to go back and look, but those are going to end up going in those 2 big totes over there. But I've got the German, get away, mosquito. I've got the German butterball, and I've got 4 or 5 little eyes put in each small one, and then I've got maybe 9 or 10 in this one. And like I said, I'm going to just put a little bit of straw around, and then put just a bit more, just a small thin layer of dirt on top. And then as they grow, I'm just going to add more dirt and maybe a little bit of hay. And I think I'm going to actually layer it dirt, hay, or straw, not hay, dirt, straw, dirt, straw, dirt, straw, until we reach the top. I think having that straw is going to really help the soil not be compacted. I hope it works. Last year when I plant in containers like this for potatoes, the soil gets so compacted that it prevents the potatoes from really having such a big, better growing opportunity. So I'm going to go ahead and layer those up now. Okay, before I put the dirt in here, I figured I would show you. Now, the potato growing gurus are probably going to come and correct me on things I'm doing wrong. But I am just experimenting to see what works for my growing area in my garden with containers. I grew containers last year, and I'm just trying to see what will do better. But this, you can see how much straw I put on here. It is not thick at all. So see, the soil is right there. So you can still see the soil through through the straw, it won't focus. So this one, and then see, it's not much at all. It's just enough to kind of add a little bit of space in there. Now this one is different because it has these holes. I'm gonna build up the straw up the side. So if you look, it looks like it's really thick, but it's not. It's just built up along the side wall here. And right here in the center, this is just as thin. See, there's the soil. It's just as thin as the other little containers. So I'm building it up along the side here so that it will help the soil prevent it from falling through the holes. And then hopefully the idea is that it'll grow out the sides, but we'll see. All right, there they are. I put the soil on top, and you can see in this guy, let's break that up. I put a little bit more soil on top, and then the straw is coming up the side. So we'll see how that works. And then moved them over here. And if I have time later, I will go over there and do those two, but it's such a mess over there, I don't want to mess with it right now, but that's okay. Yay! Alright friends, that's it for this video. It's just all about potatoes, and I will get the other half of the potatoes planted as soon as possible, and as things happen with the potatoes, I will update you. But thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time, friends. Bye!